Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode. Today, we are going to be talking about a case that happened this week in January, specifically January 25th, 2019. I hope you all are staying warm wherever you are. I know for me personally, it is 0 degrees out right now. So I hope you're all staying warm and safe and healthy. Anyway, different note, the terrifying clip that I just played that you all just saw is going to be the topic of today's video, and that blood-curdling scream that you heard in the beginning of the video was the scream of 29-year-old Elizabeth Barraza back in 2019, January 25th in Tomball, Texas. So Liz, she was also called Elizabeth Liz, I'm going to be using them interchangeably. She was in Tomball, Texas, setting up a garage sale at her home when you saw someone came, exchanged some words with her, and you heard several fires of a gunshot, and then you see a black truck just zoom away. So basically, that's all we know. That's all the police know. It's terrifying that someone can just come up to your doorstep, shoot you, and drive off and get away with it, because the most scary part about that clip that I just showed you and this whole case in general is that it still remains unsolved to this day. Nobody knows what happened. Nobody knows who did this to Liz. Nobody knows why anyone would have done this to Liz. It's completely a mystery. Additionally, in case you're wondering, no, this is not Halloween. I don't know. I like it. Hopefully it doesn't bother you. Anyway, Liz was born June 26th, 1989 in Elk Grove Village, Illinois, to her parents Robert and Rosemary Nelly. I'm not sure if her parents still lived in Illinois, but either way, she ended up moving to Texas at some point with her husband Sergio, and that's where the story took place. She had an older brother, Robert, and she met her husband Sergio in college at Houston State. Oh, I guess that's why from college. I answer my own questions all the time. And they got married in February 2014. Liz was very passionate about Harry Potter and Star Wars. Both her and her husband, they shared that kind of bond with each other. She was said to be super kind and respectful and treated everyone with kindness and respect. If this doesn't showcase her personality, she would visit Children's Hospital and dress up in stormtrooper costumes. I actually have a picture of her doing that, and just to make the kids smile and to make them happy. So obviously anyone that visits children's hospitals on their free time is an amazing person. The couple bought their first home together in 2016, and I'm going to show you a short clip of her mother, Rosemary, just describing Liz a little bit more and just talking about her early life.
Very kind, generous person. She loved people, and she would go out of her way to help anybody that needed any help or encouragement. She smiled a lot. She laughed a lot. She had a great life. She enjoyed life. Had a lot of fun, loved to travel. Just a very kind person, very supportive, and loved her friends, and just went the extra mile to make people happy. And she's just everything good.
And it's sad because you can hear the pain in her voice, like she has to stop a lot, and then her husband takes over and stuff, and it's terrible. The clips were so sad. Needless to say, her parents, more than anything else, want justice for their murder. They want not their murder, the murder. They want it to be solved like anyone else, and they want people talking about the case. And as they mentioned, that's why they came onto that show and did that interview on the news. And we see this a lot in true crime. The family is just trying to get any kind of outlet they can to help bring their daughter justice. They firmly believe that somebody knows something, somebody somewhere knows something, and they just want people talking about the case. As the dad said, I have a short clip of him saying that as well, that nothing will bring her back, but they can do this at least, and they'd have a little bit of closure, and they would bring her justice. They also have shared that they do not believe that this was a random act by any means. They believe that it was a well-executed plan. They did not think that the shooter was someone that Liz knew specifically, but they think that maybe the shooter was hired by someone or told by someone to do it. Maybe someone random that had no connection to Liz, so that they would never bring it back to this person. Her parents do wish that there were even more security cameras and more surveillance cameras from the neighbors, so they could have had a clear picture of the truck that you saw speeding away at the end. Apparently the truck did drive past the house and then do a 3-point turn and then come back and talk to Liz. But she did park behind Liz's car, so it was not in a very clear view of the surveillance camera that they had at their home. Let's talk about the actual day, though, of January 25th. As I mentioned briefly, she was setting up for a garage sale. She was planning to sell stuff Friday and Saturday, and then 2 days later, her and her husband, Sergio, were planning a trip to Orlando, Florida, to celebrate their 5th wedding anniversary. So they were just saving up extra money, get them extra souvenirs, extra meals. You know how it is when you go on vacation. So that's basically what she was trying to do, which is so sad because she was probably so excited for this trip to celebrate their anniversary, and then she probably obviously had no idea that she wouldn't have even been able to go. Her bags were packed, everything was ready. She was just tying up some loose ends with this garage sale, and then they were going to go celebrate. And this is also why her parents think this is all sinister, because whoever did this, if they did know Liz, they would have known this was their last chance to get her. God knows why they wanted to kill her, but this would have been their last chance before they went off on their trip. And also the timing was very specific. It must have been someone that knew her schedule, because around 6 a.m. she went to Starbucks with her husband, and then she returned with Sergio and started getting set up in the driveway, and that around 7 Sergio left for work. I'm talking minutes after 7. They probably were there waiting for Sergio to leave, and then they approached Liz. So this is why, they do not believe it was random, her parents, because why would a random person just want to kill her? There was nothing taken. The motive was not robbery. So it just makes no sense unless someone was strategically planning this murder, because as soon as Sergio left, they came up and approached Liz and shot her. It was the black truck was said to be a 4-door Nissan Frontier, and the police think that that's a big lead because that's not a very common truck. So like I said, they wanted someone to come over. The reward, they set up rewards if anyone knew anything, or if anyone even recognized that truck, because it is kind of a older truck. But then again, you don't know if that was a stolen vehicle, if it wasn't actually registered to the person who did it. It's just, there's so many things that the police just have no idea, which is so sad. But anyway, they shot her 4 times and sped away. Neighbors heard the shots, called 911, and Liz was lifted in a helicopter to the hospital. She was placed in ICU, but her injuries were so severe and bad that she was pronounced dead the next day. Such a sad pic of her at the hospital, like holding hands with her husband. That's so terrible. So as I mentioned, the footage that I showed in the beginning was the footage from their own house. But the neighbors did have their own surveillance, so there was kind of like little tidbits of what happened.
Garage sale. Surveillance video shows a figure walk up, confront Barraza, then fire multiple shots at her.
But the footage was very grainy. It wasn't clear footage like this. It was very grainy. It was at a distance, so it didn't really prove much, but it did appear to be a person with long hair. So they immediately at first was like, woman. That's the stereotype, long hair, woman. You could kind of tell in the video, it does kind of look like a woman. But the police say that to not rule any possibilities out, it could still be a man in disguise dressed as a woman. We can't rule out any possibilities. At first, I thought it was a man because of the truck, because a lot of women do drive trucks. It's just, I don't know, I just associate that with like a man to drive. I don't know.
I just left for work that morning, and I'm just so happy that the last words I got to say to my beautiful wife was, "I love you," and she said, "I love you too."
A black Nissan Frontier pickup was seen leaving the Barraza's neighborhood. It's not an extremely common truck, so that could be a key in solving the case.
Okay, so I know what you're thinking after seeing the video of the husband. Everybody just always immediately thinks, is it the husband? Was it an angry mistress that was the shooter, since it does look like a woman? Was it a jealous ex-girlfriend? Was this a Lacey Peterson situation? Did Sergio hire them? And Sergio himself pointed out that he knows, like, people probably suspect him as a possibility, but it was definitely not him. He claimed over and over again that they had just a normal life. There was nothing weird or out of the ordinary, that he could even believe in his mind as to why this would happen. Nobody knows why this happened. They had a very normal life. Like I said, she was very nice and kind to everyone. Like, how would she have any enemies? But anyway, he did remarry a year after her murder, which is a little sketch. But they both did pass polygraph examinations, and they both did pass. He said that it was a quick remarriage, but they met each other and bonded over losing someone, because his new wife lost her sister, so they kind of bonded over that. But yeah, the police, they don't think it's Sergio. They ruled that out. The family doesn't think it's Sergio. No one really thinks it's Sergio.
Campaign that we've been on to get publicity on the case, because that's our role, and it will transition to us being a part of the criminal justice system now and doing everything we can to help law enforcement and the DA's office successfully prosecute. So that will change.
But I think that their parents kind of have an idea of who it was, and maybe they don't want to say anything until there's evidence, because you know how that is. Like, maybe like their lawyer advised them not to. But it kind of seems like if they're so firm, like they think they know this person, like they might have an idea in their head of who put this person up to shooting her. Another theory is, was it a hit job, but it was just the wrong person? Like, they didn't mean to kill her. They meant to do the job on someone else. But I don't know. I don't really think that happens. I think with something like that, if it's something so terrible and serious, I think that they would not just make a mistake like that, like get the person wrong. But they do have a $50,000 reward for answers. If you live in this city, if you live in Texas and you kind of know anything, like, I don't know, it's crazy. Like, what do the neighbors think? Like, was there any other witnesses? Like, it's crazy to me, like, how that just happened. I know it was early, but 7 o'clock is not that early in the morning. Like, I'm sure there were people up. But anyway, her parents also want to draw attention to it to avoid this happening from other people. And again, this is why I kind of feel like they know who it is, because they said, like, I don't want this person to do this again to someone else. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. What do you guys think? What happened to Liz? What's your theories on this? What do you think happened? I would love to know in the comments. As always, if you could like and subscribe, that would help me a bunch. Thank you so much. And also, if you'd rather just listen to it on Spotify, I have just a podcast version where it's just audio. And yeah, as always, thank you for watching. I hope you all have a great rest of your day and stay safe and warm and healthy. Thank you guys. Bye.